Today, we're diving into one of the most ambitious national projects happening anywhere in the world right now, Nigeria's massive push to build a top-tier digital economy. It's a really fascinating story about vision, lawmaking, and honestly, just immense potential.
I mean, that's the big question, right? For a country with the sheer scale and complexity of Nigeria, pulling off a digital revolution isn't just about cool new tech. It's about totally rewiring its economy and its government. So where on earth do you even start?
Well, you start with a plan, a blueprint. Before you write a single line of code or lay a single mile of cable, you need a shared vision. For Nigeria, this meant hammering out a detailed, ambitious plan that laid out not just what they wanted to do, but exactly how they were going to do it. This set the stage for everything that came next.
So let's look at where this all kicked off. The whole vision was first put down on paper in a draft policy, one that was meant to create a single, unified game plan for the entire nation.
This was it, the 2021 Draft National Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship Policy. Its mission was crystal clear: create one comprehensive standard to guide digital innovation all across Nigeria. The whole idea was to stop fragmented efforts and get everyone on the same page, building a single, powerful ecosystem.
And the strategy itself was built on these 6 core pillars. The thinking here was really holistic. It's not enough to just build fancy infrastructure or throw money at problems. You have to develop skilled people, make sure they have access to capital, create real demand for what they're building, push research, and foster a true culture of entrepreneurship. Every single piece is designed to support the others.
And this is where the plan started to feel really tangible, turning those big ideas into actual promises. I mean, think about it from a founder's perspective. A 5-year tax holiday? That's critical breathing room. Pushing Made in Nigeria tech helps build a strong local market. A national innovation fund injects that lifeblood capital. And by specifically calling out support for women in tech and making it easier to protect your ideas, you're just unlocking so much more of the country's talent. These were real incentives meant to light a fire under the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so a blueprint on paper is one thing, but it's only as good as what you do with it, right? The really crucial part of this story is how this document went from just a set of ideas to the actual force of law.
And you can see they moved with real purpose. The journey starts with that draft policy back in 2021. By November 2025, it's not just a document anymore, it's a formal bill being debated in public hearings, and then, just 1 month later, boom, it's signed into law. This was not a plan that was left to collect dust on a shelf. This was an express lane from vision to reality.
And listen to the ambition here. The Minister of Communications, Dr. Bosun Tijani, didn't just talk about improving things. He framed this as a move to make Nigeria a global leader in digital governance. This whole thing was never about just catching up. It was about getting out in front and leading the pack.
And you heard that same energy coming from the legislature. Senator Salisu called it potentially the most defining bill of their entire session, one that could launch Nigeria into the league of big players globally. So you can see the political will to make this happen was definitely there.
All right, so the law is officially on the books. What does this actually mean for the people on the ground? The innovators, the startup founders, the tech talent building the future.
Well, the new law came with a very clear roadmap called the Digital Nigeria 2026 Agenda. And the goal, it's not subtle. The aim is to make Nigeria not just a digital economy, but Africa's #1 digital economy.
And this isn't just wishful thinking. The plan is incredibly specific with hard numbers you can track. For infrastructure, they're talking 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable. That's the digital backbone. For skills, they launched the 3 Million Technical Talent Program, or 3MTT, to build a huge world-class workforce. See? Every pillar has a real, concrete target attached to it.
Now, you have to understand, a transformation this big goes way beyond just the tech world. It fundamentally changes the entire relationship between people and their government. So let's take a look at the impact on governance itself.
Of course, like any massive societal shift, this is a total double-edged sword. On one side, you have these incredible opportunities. Digital tools can bring more transparency, get more citizens involved, and give a platform to voices that have been marginalized. But on the other side, you have some serious challenges. The insane speed at which misinformation can spread, the risk of deeper political polarization, and the very real danger of losing public trust if it's not handled carefully.
And let's be clear, overcoming these challenges is absolutely critical. These are the major hurdles that will really decide whether this digital revolution lifts everybody up or just a chosen few.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Technology is not some magic wand you could just wave to fix everything. The biggest hurdles are deeply human, deeply social. The fight against misinformation is a massive one. Then you have the digital divide and the need to make sure people actually have the skills to use these new tools. And all of it, every single bit, rests on that foundation of public trust in these new digital systems.
Bridging that digital divide might just be the most urgent job of all. The government itself is aiming to connect nearly 23 million people who are still completely offline. Because think about it, you can't have a truly digital economy if millions of your citizens are left behind. Inclusion is absolutely the key to making sure growth is fair and that those marginalized voices actually get heard.
So all of this brings us to one big final question. With this incredibly detailed blueprint, with the full backing of the law, and with what seems to be a clear-eyed view of the challenges ahead, Nigeria is taking on a transformation of enormous scale. If they can pull this off, it won't just reshape one nation. It could very well become the model for the entire continent's digital future. The world is definitely watching.